James, thanks very much for joining us. In terms of what you're doing at the moment, we've seen lots of clubs maybe putting their players on a bit of a reduced routine at the moment. Do you ever stop? Because judging by your social media, it's just you're on the go all the time.
Yeah, I mean, the club have been brilliant in how they've supported us in the things that we've had to do, and then we've had different phases, and that obviously it's difficult normally with a normal pre-season plan or something like that, you know, when you start and end time is, whereas with this it's a bit so it's a bit on the fly, but it's been more different phases with different types of running, longer stuff, and then going into weeks where there's a bit more break in between, but more speed stuff and changing direction. So it's tough for them, but they've been brilliant in how they've supported us and getting any equipment they need to us and things like that, and just trying to make sure that we're ticking all boxes in terms of stamina, running and things like that. But you know, also the other stuff that is a bit more difficult, you know, changing direction, a bit of ball work and things like that. So the club are doing a great job in how they're planning that for us.
There's any chance you wake up earlier and make sure you look all right as well?
Bro.
Do your hair at least, bro.
And I think lots of people will have seen the yoga sessions, but the main topic of conversation on there, other than birthdays, seemed to be how everybody's hair's getting on.
Yeah, as you can see from mine, it's a bit brutal at the moment. So I think it's the longest it's ever been. So that's a new record for me anyway. But it's a decision time really, whether I just keep going and seeing where everyone else is, or let the missus have a go and see what she can do. So it could be like this after the next yoga, or different. Might look like it's been cut with a knife and fork. We'll have to see.
James, you've just mentioned that you've had programmes, I think players up and down the leagues and in the same situation. But you're known as possibly being the fittest player within the squad. Are you actually doing extra than what you've been asked to do? And is that also something because, you know, because of lockdown, you could actually end up overtraining?
Yeah, I think it's getting that balance. I always follow the club's sessions really. If I can do them a bit quicker in terms of runs and things, I'll do. In terms of this period, obviously in the season it's hard to get certain exercises in. Obviously your leg work and stuff with games every 3 days, that's very difficult to get in. So I've tried to use it as an opportunity to do a bit more leg stuff than I would normally do. I started yoga a bit earlier in the season as well, so I've been doing that quite a lot. So in that way I think it's a good opportunity to maybe improve the parts of your body and legs and things like that, which you couldn't do with 3 games a week. You can maybe prepare them and get some good leg work, which obviously you can't normally do. And the same with the yoga, obviously that would be geared around games, whereas at the moment you can get 2 or 3 sessions in a week.
Hey, can anyone actually cross their legs, by the way? Was it just me?
This is already the difficult position for me to do. We didn't even start.
What's your role in terms of being a senior player, maybe on WhatsApp groups, Zoom calls with the rest of the squad? Is it a bit more to it for yourself and maybe Jordan Henderson, maybe Virgil van Dijk, the senior players within the squad?
Yeah, I think it's a tough situation for everyone, not just in football, all over. Everybody's doing things they don't normally do, having to find ways to go about their life, and obviously the key workers and people in the NHS are doing an unbelievable job at the moment and how they're keeping the country going, and they're doing all the hard work for us. We're just trying to go about the things that we normally do as well as we can, obviously. And in terms of the club, again, you know, I can't really fault everything they've done in terms of this and the programmes, but also on the social side. As soon as we finished as a group, that first day of training, there was a WhatsApp group set up with everybody in it, players, staff around Melwood. There's been daily contact in there, jokes, you know, videos, and plenty of contact in there, which is important. You've got to keep that contact, and we've obviously got a great team spirit at the club, and that's important. And you know, if you're away from your phone for half an hour and you come back and there's 15 messages on there and you've been the brunt of the jokes, you're in a bad place there. You've got to dig yourself out pretty quick. So you've got to be careful that you're not getting too much into the children's work and stuff without having your phone too far away. But yeah, it's good fun, and you realise how much you miss the guys when, you know, you do your yoga sessions and you all get together on the Zoom calls and things like that. There's banter going around on social media and in the group, and the amount of time you spend with everyone and travelling, you're going to miss the other lads and the coaches and that setup. But that's where we are, and it'll be great to see him whenever that is.
Okay, so we should start, Dave. We start with singing. Okay. English.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
James, you're on the brink of a third Premier League title. You've won 2 before. Can you just give us a little bit of insight into the differences between that Manchester City team that you played in and the team that you're playing in now?
Yeah, I think both teams had so much quality. I think the Liverpool team is a lot different to the Man City team in how we played. I think as a team we've developed really over the last few years at Liverpool, and you can see that when the manager came in we were inconsistent, but there was amazing performances in there with some very poor ones, and gradually over time that's got better and better, and we have that identity, and we're very intense off the ball and playing away. Really, if one person doesn't do the job, you're going to be in trouble. And you know, I think that's evident in how we play. If one player doesn't do something or doesn't close a gap, then you're in big trouble. I think in terms of the Man City team, we had a lot of quality and attacked in different ways there to what we do in the Liverpool side. So I think that's obviously down to the managers, but also the players we had. But you know, very fortunate to play in both teams, full of top players.
I also wanted to ask you about 2 players that have played, one in either team. 2 brilliant centre-halves. Probably the best centre-half in the last 10 years in the Premier League has been Vincent Kompany, and then the best current centre-half is Virgil van Dijk. Can you shed some light in terms of sort of how those 2 compare in terms of the influence they have on the teams?
Yeah, massive players. I think obviously you always look at the spine of a successful team, and it starts, you know, right through the middle and the leaders at the back, and how important defending is. Vinny, obviously, unbelievable player. How he went about his business, struggled with injuries, but the amount of injuries you saw him play through as well, which nobody would have ever known, was incredible as well. Would put his head on the line. Unbelievable leader. Great captain, so many great qualities on that side, and rightly so, one of the greatest defenders to play in the Premier League. And then obviously Virgil's probably a bit different to that, maybe a bit more of a Rolls Royce if you like, and doesn't really seem to make too many tackles. He gets in the right spot and you know, moves the ball away, and maybe he's got a few more diags in his locker than Vinny had, although Vinny had that as well. And Vinny had the greatest ball strike, I suppose. Nice one into the top corner. So, you know, he can strike a ball all right as well.